Istanbul, Turkey, covering the bizarre story. Molly Hunter, over the weekend, it seems like Saudi Arabia has changed their story once again.
Hurrah, good morning. That's right. Again. So as by my count, this is about the third radically different explanation to what happened to Jamal Khashoggi. So it's been 20 days, and about 2.5 weeks ago, a Saudi official originally said, you know what, Jamal Khashoggi walked out on his own on October 2nd. And we all assumed pretty quickly that that probably wasn't true. But over the weekend, they put out a official government statement that said, okay, it was all a big accident. He came in, there was a fist fight, and that's how he died. And they didn't even just use the word fist fight. They used the word brawl, which I think we can all agree is also not a word commonly used. And then we spoke with a Saudi official yesterday, and this Saudi official says actually it was not a fist fight. He came in, he tried to leave. There was a physical altercation that ensued. One of the suspects, one of the 18 guys that has been detained, put him in a chokehold, and that's how he died.
Do we know where the body is?
We don't. And McGraw, that is the big question. That is what everyone's talking about today. So the same Saudi official that we spoke with yesterday told us another narrative that runs counter to the Turkish narrative, at least. And they said the body was given to a local cooperator, and that person disposed of it. Who gave it to the local cooperator? Who's the local cooperator? Where did they dispose it? We have no idea. Reuters even had a report that the body was rolled up in a rug. But McGraw, for the last 3 weeks, Turkish officials have said, actually, he was brutally killed inside the consulate. He was dismembered, and that there wouldn't have been a body per se to dispose of. And the Turkish officials instantly threw cold water on this.
Yeah. Well, Molly Hunter, what's the end game here? What is? I mean, the Saudis are trying to weasel out of what? I mean, right? I mean, what's the end game here? If they come out and said, yes, he was murdered, he was killed, we did it. I mean, what's right? I mean, what's the end? I mean, what's the plan here?
I mean, right. The end game is, I think, at least from the United States, I think President Trump is going to have to decide if that is what ends up happening, if the Saudis end up coming out and saying that, what the U.S. is going to do. And we have heard a noticeable shift in tone from President Trump, where for the last couple of weeks he said we need to wait for the Saudi investigation to happen. I mean, first of all, it took the president 6 days to say anything. For the next 10 days, he said we need to wait and give the Saudis some time. And finally, over the weekend, he exercised, or at least voiced, a little bit of caution of the Saudi narrative. So he called the Washington Post and said, okay, obviously there's been a lot of deception, there have been lies, but he's not ready to point the finger at Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, because, McGraw, Mohammed bin Salman is like the guy that President Trump has staked his foreign policy in the Middle East on. Saudi Arabia was his first visit. This is a guy that his son-in-law has maintained and built a very close relationship with. President Trump has said, nobody's told me he's responsible. Nobody has told me he's not responsible. I would love if he wasn't responsible, which should tip us off, at least foreshadow what the U.S. may not do if, in fact, the Saudis come out and say we have, brutally killed this man and have broken international norms. And I think a lot of people in the United States, Republicans and Democrats up on the Hill, have voiced their unsatisfaction with the president's response so far.
When last we left this melodrama, there were investigations going on. Where are we in these investigations?
Right. So apparently there are two investigations going on. There's the Turkish investigation, which here in Istanbul I have seen evidence of. I have seen the Turks go into the consulate, into the consular residence, in forensic gear, come out with boxes. We have seen that ongoing. Now, the Saudis have said they're running an investigation as well. They've even hinted that they're running a joint investigation. Yesterday, the foreign minister spoke to Fox News, and he said, we'll work with our Turkish colleagues. But there's no evidence of that. The only thing I know about the Saudi investigation is that apparently, and according to Secretary of State Pompeo, the Saudis promised him one, and they said it would be thorough and timely. And President Trump also said that Mohammed bin Salman, the crown prince, personally promised him that they would also complete an investigation. That is all I know about the Saudi investigation.
Did you hear the story this morning where the Saudis tried a body double? Have you heard this story this morning?
So that's a story going around. ABC News cannot confirm it. I have not seen the video. But CNN and a Turkish channel are both running this report leaked by Turkish officials that shows a guy dressed in Jamal Khashoggi's clothing walking out of the consulate. And then this surveillance video continues to show this guy at the Blue Mosque here in Istanbul, which is one of the biggest tourist sites, shows him at a restaurant, and then finally shows him disposing of the clothing. Again, we've not confirmed this. I do not know that the surveillance video is real, but the conclusions from this, if it's true, is that it's going to be really hard for the Saudis to say that this wasn't premeditated if they literally brought a guy whose sole job was to be the body double. And it's going to mean another possible explanation. But right now we are going to the Turks to ask for this, and we're going to the Saudis to ask questions about it.
Molly Hunter, you're the best. Be safe in Istanbul, Turkey. Thanks, Molly. Have a good day.
I'll talk to you soon.